This is your host, Asad Akhtar, and welcome to Linux Innovations. You have joined a webinar about AI infrastructure and DevOps engineer program where you get 4 weeks free and we will build your foundation about the hardware and Linux operating system. It's going to be lots of hands-on stuff. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little challenging as well. We will see how well you can handle the challenges. So right now, what I need from you guys is one liner from every single one of you, your name, where you are located, your current profession. If you can give me that, I'm happy. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for your break the ice between you and me. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. I have an idea who my audiences are. If everybody's an IT person, then I'm going to go straight into Linux, not even going to explain you anything what Linux is. If everybody's new over here, then I need to lay down all the foundations. What is IT? What are different roles in IT? And what is Linux? And where does it run? Why do I need to learn about it? Why do I care about Linux? Because it can change your life. That's what you care about it. Okay, laptop, where we're going to give you access to the Linux terminal. Okay, desktop is okay, laptop is okay, Windows is fine, Mac is okay, as long as your computer works. That's okay. You will not be doing too much processing on your computer. You will be connecting to our server. You will be running the commands over there. Okay. But let's talk about this program. And first of all, good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to the AI Infrastructure and DevOps Engineer Program. I am your host and your coach, your mentor, and your guide. My name is Asad Akhtar. That's in my native language, but my American name is Asad Akhtar. So whatever you guys comfortable, you can call me by that. Okay. Little bit about me. I have I started when I was 19 years old, back in 1999. Um, migrated from Pakistan, landed in Brooklyn. I thought I belonged to a very rich family because back home we were getting dollars and converting into rupees. Everything looked great. When I came to America at the age 15, I believe, yeah, 15, um, I realized that life is tough over here. And my dad was a taxi driver. By the way, my dad passed away just recently, February 14th. He was 83 years old. I loved him. I still, miss him a lot. But, anyway, so when I came here, yeah, yeah, that was a big loss for me most recently. So came here at age 15, went to high school, FDR, Brooklyn, went to college, Kingsborough Community College, started my associates in computer science. And then I had a cousin who moved from UK and came to stay with us. The natural Pakistani thing that we do. And he stayed with us and he became a data analyst at that time, our QA guy, quality assurance guy. And I was going to Kingsborough Community College. This was my first year in Kingsborough Community College, or, maybe second semester. And at that time, he told me that he had no prior computer science background. And he got a job making $65 an hour as a QA, quality assurance. Quality assurance guys are the ones that actually test. They perform some testing. They do quality assurance testing on the software and hardware, depending on what the company wants from you. Okay. So he stayed with us, and I was impressed that this guy must have been around 28 years old at that time, that no prior background in IT, and is making $65 an hour. At the same time, I was struggling to find a direction. My dad was a taxi driver. He was having a hard time, honestly speaking, fulfilling his responsibilities, putting the food on the table, bare minimum he was doing. And I was a very, very responsible kid from day first. So I realized I have to do something for my dad to help him. So the day I turned 19 years old, I got my TLC license. I have two other brothers. One of them is in the program with me, and one of my younger brother, his name is Farouk. He's a SAP consultant. Okay, so the elder brother is here with me. He's my partner in this program, and he's also has an IT background. But my younger brother was in the SAP domain, SAP. He's a top-notch consultant in SAP. He's been doing this for the last 20 years. But so I got my license. I started driving yellow cab on the weekends to help my dad, and I was going to school at the same time. But soon I realized that taxi driving was not the way to make money. I mean, it's a good profession. My dad did it for years. I did it for some time. My brothers all did it. This is how we got started. It paid for everything for me. It was perfect, going to school during the daytime, evening time, driving taxi, making some extra cash, helping dad with the rent and everything. We were in a struggling phase. But when I met this cousin of mine who migrated from UK, I realized that I can do similar things, okay? Uh, I can also get into IT. That was the only thing I knew about IT at that time. He told me he had taken a program which was 6 to 8 months, and after he did the program, he applied for jobs in the US, coming from UK on a visa, and got a job. And he told me the market is really, really hard. And he told me I can teach you some things and I can get you into the program. But when I saw his skills on a user level, like he didn't know how to do copy paste and some of the things, I was like, I'm not too sure if I want you to be my teacher right now. You continue with your journey. And anyway, so being at school at Kingsborough Community College, I started with my C. At that time, there was a C language. That was my first programming language I went to. And I had my hopes completely high, all the way up there, that I'm going to be the top notch computer science guy. I'm going to be a software developer. I'm going to be making killing amount of money. To my surprise, when I went to that class, this old professor was a smart guy, but he could not explain anything to me, honestly speaking, from a very simple concept to variables and assigning values to the variables and data structures. And I could not make sense out of that. This was my first D ever I got in my life. I was a straight A student all of my life. And I ended up getting a D grade in that class. So the dream of becoming a software engineer went into the drain right away. So I was hopeless. And to make the things worse, to make the matters worse, I had another class fellow, a Pakistani fellow, who used to drive BMW 3 Series brand new and to the Kingsborough Community College, was in my discrete math class. When I asked him, what do you do? He said, I'm a software engineer. And I got excited. I'm like, oh, I want to be a software engineer too. And then he asked me what classes you're taking. I said, I'm taking C, I'm taking math, and I'm taking this. And he said, okay, what did you get in the C? C is a programming language. I said, I got my first. He's like, forget about it. You could never be in IT. You don't look smart. There's no way. Forget about driving a BMW. You can hardly afford a Toyota Camry. I swear to my God, this is where his words were. I'm not exaggerating anything. So that thing just killed me more. That thing killed me more. And then, I was in the struggle. I was driving and I knew that this driving is not going to last because, you pick up passengers. Some of them are drunk. Some of them are yelling at you. Some of them are screaming at you. Some of them are nice. But this is not the way I want to live my life. Getting up every single day. I'm not doing any productive with my mind. And I'm getting dumber and dumber every day. And So I got to do something. But IT closed all the doors. I got a D and I have no other way to go. I don't know what to do next. And then next semester, I run into now best friend of mine, Khizr Bajwa. He's also my business partner at Linux Tech Innovations. And he mentioned that one of his friend, this is a typical Pakistani way of, spreading things. He mentioned to me that one of his friend actually ended up taking a course with somebody in Hicksville, Long Island, and he got a job that pays him $50 an hour. And he has no degree and he has no background in this. And he said it's worth looking into. And I said, listen, I got my first D in the C language. I don't think this is something for me. He goes, no, let's give it a try. I promise you there's something for us. And now this is probably my second year at Kingsborough Community College. So we decided to go see this gentleman in Hicksville to take his course just to see, like you guys came to this program and try out. When I went to that program, I had no idea. He mentioned something. This is a Unix program. And mind you, I'm talking about era when there was no Google. There was no Google. We did not have access to the information like you guys had. There was no chat GPT. There was no Google at that time. I just ended up going to a library and looking up the word Unix and asked for the book. And before I went there, because I want to know what it is. And it turns out it was an operating system which was developed at AT&T. Okay. Um, yeah, this operating system was developed at AT&T. And let me see over here if I can move my screen here. So this program was developed, the operating system was developed at AT&T, and it was a first network operating system. And there were a lot of jobs in this domain, and it did not require any programming background. So that was like, okay, great. Um, so this was something promising for me. So me and my friend, and we got other two friends, we went to Hicksville. First time, met with this guy, seemed very nice gentleman, very promising. He used to work at Goldman Sachs in New York City, downtown at that time, making $120 an hour. And he must have been in his late 30s, 38, 39, 40 years old, gentleman. And he said that, for some cash, I can give you guys skills and I can help you land a job. So I did not know anything about the operating system. I did not know anything about the computers. I did not know the hardware. I did not know anything. I decided to invest. I think at that time we paid about $2,500. I decided to invest my $2,500. And I used to travel along with my other three friends, taking the LAR all the way to Hicksville, walking about a mile in nice summer days on the weekends. And we took this program for about 3, 4 months. And after that, I started applying for jobs. And I did about 30 interviews at that time because I was so young, 19 years old, turning to 20, my 20s. By the time I got my job, I was 20 years old. Now, I was so young, I did not have my mustache. Wherever I would go for the interview, I did about 30, 35 interviews. Everybody would make fun of me. Like literally, we have this kid over here who don't know what the hell he's doing. He's got this, nice resume and nice bullet points over there, but he don't know what he's doing. But I had this convention, the belief that, it's gonna get me somewhere. By the way, at that time, everybody that graduated with me from that class, about 6 kids, they all had jobs. I was the only one that did not get a job. But I ended up going to AT&T for an interview. The same company that built the Unix operating system, AT&T Bell Labs, or Labs Research now in Florham Park, New Jersey, year 2000. maybe June. Yeah. And they interviewed me. The gentleman, his name was Mike Baker. I still remember this fatherly figure, Mike Baker. Such a great gentleman. And he interviewed me, and he knew that I did not know everything that I listed on my resume. But he saw something, a spark in me, and he said, "You know what, Assad, I know you don't have the skills, but I know you have the attitude. As long as you have the positive attitude, we can teach you skills. I welcome you." And then he gave me an opportunity. I started making $35 an hour. I used to travel from Brooklyn to Florham Park, New Jersey every day for $35 an hour. And this was a dream come true. And I got to work with the most talented people on this planet. I'm talking about David Korn, the guy who developed the first corn shell. I'm talking about um, Bjarne Straub, the European gentleman who came out with the C++ language. And I'm talking about Steve Bell, the creator of the firewall. These were the brains that I started working with, and I got to learn so much from that place. For the last 15 years, I have been teaching and placing people. So if you are in the tri-state area, okay, if you're in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and you probably heard my name because I have close to 2,000 alumni in this state, in these three states, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Philadelphia. Lots of my students. And my students work at top-notch companies, Fortune 100 companies. My students are AT&T, Bank of America, BNY Mellon. You name a company in New York, and my student is there. My students work for Red Hat, IBM. You name a company, and you will find my student over there. More than close to 2,000 alumni, and that's the community that we have created. Today, I'm not just by myself. I have other qualified instructors, people who are my student actually, and they are all helping me build your future. So I felt the need to continue to teach because I realize these skills that we teach you, they are not taught in traditional universities, in colleges. There are courses on Udemy and YouTube that claim to teach you these skills. Yes, they can teach you these skills, but they are not going to teach you real problem solving skills. They are not going to teach you all the tools that you will be interacting and working at the workforce. They're not going to talk about the workflows and processes. And the employers are not just looking for skills because anybody can know Linux, but how you use Linux in your environment, what problems you solve, how do you tune it, how do you harden it, what applications you run on it, how do you solve problems around Linux, what ticketing system you use, what incident management you use, what is your experience with the monitoring systems. All of these things, there are so many scattered things. You need to link all of them and present yourself as a seasoned system engineer, Linux engineer, infrastructure engineer, DevOps engineer to your employer. Then they will only pay attention to you. Alone certifications, knowing commands is not going to get you anywhere in today's economy. So therefore, I have put together 4 weeks introductory program for you guys to get a test drive, to get a feel for what it is like to work with Linux and to understand the foundation of the AI, and then that's where the AI infrastructure comes in. We will be focusing on the foundational skills, the all the way starting from the very basic layer, which is the hardware layer, then building your skills on Linux, then talking about virtualization, then talking about cloud, And then talking about AI workloads. What does it take to run the AI platform? Everything over here is needed to run the AI platform. You need Linux skills. Before Linux, you need hardware. You need to know the hardware. On top of that, you run your Linux. On top of that, you have your DevOps tools. We're going to talk about these. On top of that, you run your AI model. And of course, in this hardware, you have different vendors, Dell, HP, NVIDIA now, which makes the GPUs. We're going to talk about this layer. We're going to try to understand. During these 4 weeks, you will get a better idea what the IT industry is about, what skill sets are hot, and what are in some different directions that you can go in and explore different directions, and the clear roadmap to success. At the end of the day, the program that we run at Linux is all about getting you the job. Okay. And it starts with building solid foundation, understanding of the core hardware, software, tools like Linux and DevOps tools. And then we focus on your soft skills, interview taking skills. We have thousands of interviews that we're basically been through. Our students have been through. We have thousands of interview questions, and our course is designed based on those scenarios. What the interviewers, the managers, the directors are looking for in the candidate, that's what we teach you in our program. And that's where you become a solid system engineer. So the success rate is very, very high from this program. So that's my introduction, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the roadmap of what we will be covering in our 4 weeks program. We will be talking about Linux operating system. Okay. And why do you want to know about Linux operating system and DevOps tools? Because I don't know what your experience with Linux is, but today the reality is Linux operating system is the industry leading server operating system. It is actually the backbone of all the data centers. It is the backbone of the cloud systems. It is the backbone, pretty much. If you pick up your phone right now, open it up, touch any application that you use, Instagram, TikTok, mostly you're all on social media, Gmail. At the end of the day, those applications are powered by Linux operating systems, and DevOps tools make those applications available to you. So at the end of the day, there is a hardware that's running that operating system. Hardware is basically your server. Okay. It could come from Dell, it could come from HP. So you have your hardware over here, your server, and then on top of this hardware layer, you have your OS. The choice for the OS, ladies and gentlemen, for the mission critical applications that run your applications 24/7. And what is an application? Application is the application that you're using on your cell phone. When you log into the JP Morgan Chase website, that's an application. When you log into the Instagram or TikTok, that's the application. That application is running on top of this operating system. And the number one choice for that operating system is Linux. Okay. So on top of this Linux operating system, you have your DevOps tools. And what are those DevOps tools? Those DevOps tools are Docker, Kubernetes, also called K8s, CI/CD pipeline. And all of these DevOps tools make the application run smoothly and deliver it to you. Okay. And so if you are the expert in Linux and these DevOps tools, and if you have the good understanding of this hardware system, then a lot of companies want to hire you. I cannot think of any company on this face of earth that does not have this infrastructure. You can talk about banks, they all have this. You can talk about governments, they all have this. You can talk about retail industry, they all have this. Every single industry needs this infrastructure, this layout in order for them to run their applications. Basically, businesses today are run on IT, and this is your core IT systems. And that's where I'm going to lay down the foundation, starting with the hardware level, giving you the understanding of what goes on, what is inside of this server, and what are those components responsible, what are they doing. And then we will jump into Linux. We will get our hands dirty with Linux commands. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. You will be logging into the Linux terminal for the first time. And then you will see it for yourself if this is something that sparks your interest, if this is something that you enjoy doing. And if that bulb goes on in your brain, then you have the potential to get a $120,000 to $150,000 job when you transition into our paid program. 4 weeks is all foundational stuff. I'm not going to talk about my paid program because this is not supposed to be marketing. This is supposed to be 4 weeks where I give you the foundation and then you decide where you want to take your career. We will talk about other opportunities as well. Okay. So, so these terms are very foreign to you right now. Do not worry about these terms right now. I'm going to demystify everything. I'm going to give you the understanding of the hardware. I'm going to give you the understanding of the Linux operating system. I'm going to teach you what these technologies are. I'm going to talk about cloud and virtualization. And then you will see where you want to take your future. So Linux is very much in demand. That's the one skill that every single person, every single one of you needs to have on your belt. I don't care what you do. You become a developer, you become a data scientist, you become cybersecurity guy. You will be interacting with Linux operating system. And if you take this whole thing out of the company, they cannot run AI models. Without Linux, you cannot run AI models. And that's where we're going to talk about what is AI infrastructure operations engineer. We're going to talk about what it takes to become an AI infrastructure operation engineer. Okay, that's also part of this program. Now, everybody understands what I'm talking about over here? Am I just talking to myself and not making any sense to you guys? Let me just see over here your messages for a second. Let me just make this screen bigger over here. Okay. All right, good. So might be a little boring for you guys right now, but it's going to get interesting as I'm not able to make the screen bigger. Guys, the panelists, please help the students in the chat who are complaining about the screen. Tell them, okay? So this might be a little boring for you guys, but when you look at this number, it's going to make things very interesting, okay? And what I want you guys is basically take the information that I'm giving you today. You guys don't need an expert anymore. You don't need to call your uncle and auntie or somebody that you know that works in the IT industry and seek their professional advice. You can just take all the information that I'm giving you, feed it to the chat GPT, and ask the chat GPT or Claude or Gemini that, does it make sense what this stupid guy is saying? This old man in front of my screen telling me all of these things and promising that he can get me 120 to 150K annually after spending 6 months in a course learning Linux, Docker, Kubernetes, and CI/CD pipeline. And does this make sense? And I want you to share that answer with me and then tell me, okay, whether I make sense, whether I'm making the lies over here, giving you this beautiful, futuristic picture, which is not based on reality. So I want you to come back and challenge me, okay? So you guys don't need that expert anymore. You just need a chat GPT, Claude, and Gemini, okay? Just a little disclaimer, they're not always going to be right. They're like little babies that are learning to talk right now, but they have information. They have every single book that you have online, they fed it to these AI models. Every single chat, every single conversation, they have it built, they have just fed into this AI model. So they are very smart and they are spreading really, really fast. Okay. All right. So get this out of the way over here. Now, we're going to be focusing on the Linux skill, DevOps skills, because they have the high paying jobs. One most important thing that I want to highlight over here. I want to highlight over here one thing. In the next 2 to 4 years, write down my word. If you're doing something on a computer, it can be replaced by AI agent. It will be replaced by AI agent. If you're an accountant, data analyst, if you're just doing some operations, you will be replaced by AI. And I'm not the one to tell you this. Elon Musk is talking about it. The Sam Altman is talking about it. AI is being implemented as we speak. And unfortunately, they do not need developers. Developers made tons of money, from starting from the 1970s, 1970, even before that, till the last year, 2025. If you're a fresh graduate with a computer science degree and you have the development skills, nobody wants you anymore. Why? Because the AI models can program better than you. So instead of hiring you, they are creating these AI agents that are writing the program, and they only hire the senior level guy that actually goes through the program, goes through the code and says, this is good, this is bad. So that's the thing of the past, development. You guys read news, you see every other day, Amazon is firing people, Meta is firing people, Oracle Enterprise is firing people, laying off people. That's because the AI agentic is here and it's going to stay and it's going to spread. Then the question is, what makes you say that the DevOps jobs are going to remain, that the AI infrastructure jobs are going to remain? Well, because AI cannot exist if you do not have Linux, if you do not have the NVIDIA, and if you do not have the DevOps. AI cannot exist. And another thing, all of these things, they belong to data center. That's a place that every company has. It's like a big room where they host their servers. And the data center has basically servers. And these servers are, for the most part, they are bare metal servers. They are bare metal servers. Unless they come up with humanoids, robots that are so smart that they can work with these physical servers as well, can take them out, take out the hard drives, take out the CPU, install, put them together, put it back in there. These systems break. And because this is a complex setup, AI, it's going to take about 10 years to figure this stuff out. For now, they need professionals because the demand is only rising. As the AI is spreading like fire, the data centers are exploding. You have companies spending billions of dollars on data centers, building data centers. There's a shortage of people who understand servers. There's a shortage of people who understand networking, shortage of people who are data center technicians, Linux engineers, DevOps engineers. We're not seeing that rise yet, but by the end of 2026, 2027, you're going to see this job market explode. Why? 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 What do you guys think? Give me one liner. Why this job market is going to explode? Before the AI era, now supply demand is there. Before the AI era, you had people write code. You have people writing code, right? And they were making a lot of money. Coders were making $300,000, $400,000. Now you have AI writing the code to build applications. Do you know that today you can sit on Claude and ChatGPT and you can create a company if you have good idea what you want to do. You can create your own website, you can create your own applications, you can spin up a company in matter of weeks. Okay? Guess what? You don't need the developers. But wait, you have the code now. Where is that going? Where is that code going to sit? Where is that code going to run? Where? What is the base? The base is the hardware. The base is the Linux. The base is the DevOps. Where is this code going to sit? It's going to sit on servers. So if me and you and everybody else can write the code now with Claude, and we can come up with applications, guess what we need? We need servers. We need Linux. We need DevOps. So the server, Linux, DevOps allows you to run your applications. DevOps is a methodology that allows you to run applications smoothly and deliver to your customers. Linux is the hardware is the base. Linux is on top, then DevOps tools on top. So if imagine billions of people or billion of people are able to now write code in overnight, you're going to need servers. Right now, the AI demand is so much that they do not have enough resources to answer all the questions that you have or to entertain the customers like me and you, right? And that's where the Claude and ChatGPT get slow when you ask them a question. You guys feel that latency? You guys feel that delay? That's because they're running out of the resources. They need more data centers. And that's where Sam Altman, the creator of ChatGPT, is partnering with the United States government to build data centers that will require trillions of dollars, if not billions. So when this much money is being spent on data centers, they need people who can manage these servers, who understand. So therefore, that's why you care to learn this skill. Everybody's with me so far? All is good, folks? Okay. Am I talking too much over here? Or this is okay? I just want to give you a clear picture of what you're getting into, okay? So now, we're going to teach you the skills that will lead you to real jobs because there is a demand. I just explained to you why there is so much demand now. Every single one of you can write code using Claude. I mean, not you, not me, but the developers, who have the know-how. But so at the very, very core, I said at the very core, we have a hardware layer. We have servers. That's bare metal server. And that's when I started with the AT&T. I started working with bare metal servers. So my understanding of the bare metal servers is very solid. Nowadays, people that are starting, maybe you guys are starting, you may not be interacting so much with the bare metal servers because there's something called cloud. Okay. So cloud, by the way, is still use of bare metal servers, but selling the bare metal server as a service to the end client. So what cloud companies do, like Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, they just bought a lot of hardware, servers, and they came up with a nice code that you do not have to buy this server for yourself. You can rent a virtual server or cloud server from one of these guys, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. These are the three big cloud players. So they're basically giving you rental services, like you guys do not need to buy your car when you travel to Florida, for Disneyland or whatever, right? You don't buy your car over there. You rent a car. Cloud is basically a renting services for IT companies. If I'm a small IT company and I want to build an application and I want to run my website, I have simple two choices. One, I can buy my own hardware and buy all the networking and a physical space where I'm going to install these servers and have a power over there, enough cooling over there. It's going to cost me money, maybe hundreds and thousands of dollars. Servers are very expensive. Electricity is expensive. So you need cooling, you need networking, you need a lot of devices. But if I do not have the capital, the money upfront, I can go to the cloud service providers and I can buy a virtual server online. Okay? That's something we're going to touch. How to build a how to rent a server from the cloud computing, from the cloud company like Amazon. Okay? So, all right. So, let's move forward with the core concepts of IT. I talked about the fundamental concept of running your operating system on top of the hardware. Okay. So we're going to talk about the core pillars of IT. What is IT made up of? What do you find in IT? So there's a hardware element to the IT industry. There's a software element to the IT industry. There are networks involved, and then there's a data involved. These are the core pillars of IT. Whatever you do in IT, you're a developer, you are an analyst, you're a cybersecurity guy, you're a DevOps guy, you're a system administrator guy, you're a help desk technician, you're going to have to work with these pillars of IT. There's a hardware element. We talked about the servers, the desktops, laptops. There's a software element. We will talk about what are those softwares that we interact with as IT professionals. Then we will talk about the networks. How do you connect these devices over the network? And then the core, another pillar is the data. Data is everything. Data is the wealth today. That's why we have AI, because we have tons of amounts of data. So processing of that data to give us the predictive analysis, to give us the answers. So that's also part of the core IT. Okay. Now, um, I'm going to break down these hardware, software, networks, and data part into its own category. If we talk about the hardware elements in IT, um, at this is my email address. You need to enter your email address, okay? You have to create with your username. Do not use my username, okay? This is unique. So username can be anything. If your first name is Adam Sandler, then you say Adam S or Adam.Sandler, whatever John S, whatever your username is, okay? You need to create your own username. And I'm going to choose my own password. Okay, I created my account with my username ASADA. I'm gonna go to log back in. There you go. I'm gonna save my password. There you go. Is Linux easier to use on desktop, laptop? You have to use a desktop or a laptop for you to interact with Linux. Honestly speaking, cell phone is not the right way to do it. So now I am logged in. No, you can use any passwords as long as there are 8 characters. I didn't make it extra, challenging for you guys. You see, I'm logged in. This is where you should be logged into. Okay. And we can see on the left side all of the users who are logged in right now. Take a look at this. All of our users who are logged in right now, they are showing us on the left side. This is just a little dashboard that we created. Okay. And it will show you your command history. Okay. This is not part of Linux, by the way, but this is the Linux part right over here. This is the Linux part. The other part is all fancy. We did it just to motivate you guys a little bit, just to show you your progress, okay? Now you need to create your own user ID. You need to create your own username. We do not provide you one. If your name is Sikandar, that's your username. You need to pick the right password, right? And then remember that. It's perfectly okay. Go back and retry again. Come up with some simple password, okay? The rule of the username is it has to have like 3 to 5 characters. The link once again, guys, team. Try the link one more time, please. Can I use a large iPad? For now, that's okay. For now, that's okay. But down the road, you're gonna need a machine. Okay. So let me see. I have only 11 users so far. Take a look at this. Let's type the command uptime, everybody. And let me show you right here. It says there are 11 users logged in. Yeah, we will share the recording link with you guys in the email. Okay. So now let's take a look at this. You guys are on the Linux terminal. Type your first command, uptime. And uptime will show you how long the server has been up and running. The time right now, which is 122. The server has been up and running for 2 days. And there are 11 users. Okay? There are 11 users, and this is the load on the server. By the way, you guys are starting with the solid system administration command, which is uptime. Any Linux system engineer, when they log into Linux server, this is the first command they run, uptime. Okay? To see how many users are logged into the server. How come I got only 11 users logged in right now? W command and the uptime command. Is everybody, you guys are logged in right now? Oh, by the way, yeah, this is an interview question. Yeah, they ask you, how do you check the load on your server? That's your interview question right there. Everybody's logged in right now? So these are all the users logged in right now, folks. Right over here. We got 25 people logged in. Why is that? Why is the number so low? You guys all should be logged in right now. These are all my good students that are logged in. Okay. If you're logged in, say Beautyfly, BF. If you're not logged in, say Uglyfly, UF. Okay. I want to see how many BFs are there. Well, I see a lot of BFs are there. As long as you have this blinking cursor over here and you can type the command uptime, you are logged in. The next command that I'm going to show you is called the ID command. Run the ID command and then tell me your username over here in the chat. I see my username over here, Asad A. Give me your username that you see when you run the ID command. Oh, beautiful. Some of you guys are able to give me your usernames. That's amazing. This is how you check how you're logged into the system. What is your username? Beautiful. Excellent. You guys are making progress. Now you know 2 commands. One is the ID command. The other one is the uptime command. Those are very, very important commands. ID command will show you the account that you used to log in. And that account is, your username. Just like you have a username for your Gmail, for your Instagram, you have your username and handle. Same thing in Linux. You have your username, okay? Yes. Oh, Telnet was the back in days, right? Telnet was when I was young and handsome, okay? That was Telnet days, okay? I remember those Telnet days. No more. We don't use Telnet anymore. Okay, very good. Very good. So we're able to see, okay, we are able to see we are able to run the uptime command. We are able to run the ID command. Let's run the ID command. Now, lowercase, not the uppercase. All the commands are in lowercase. Type the lowercase command. Type the lowercase command ID. Now, maybe your computer was doing updates. Bring it back up. Okay. So you have to run the lowercase commands, no uppercase. Linux is all lowercase for the most part. For the most part, okay? So the commands are case sensitive. Okay, David. Commands are case sensitive. So let me ask you a question. If an interviewer asks you, how would you check how long the server has been up and running? And what is the load on the server? What's the command? Uptime. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. And so if you want to see, now you guys need to create your own account. What I'm going to do for you guys one more time is I'm going to log out over here and I'm going to bring you guys over here. This is the link. Follow along. Those of you who were not able to log in, only those of you who are not able to log in, okay? Stay with me for a second. And I know the first days can be a little tricky for you guys because you're completely new to this. Go to this link. If you're not logged in, if you're logged in, you're perfectly fine. Pay attention to me, okay? If you're logged in, you're perfectly fine. I want you to click on this link and then come over here on this User Pulse website. When you come over here, then you need to go to create account. If you're logged in, that's okay. Yeah, this one is not HTTP. Don't worry about that. We're not too much security concerned right now. Okay. We want to make things super easy for our clients. Okay, now let's go. Now you pick your username. Okay. Let's say I pick my username Assad123. Okay. And now I need to give my email address, any personal email address that you guys use. This is for us. I will give my email address at linoob.com. Okay. And then any password you can choose welcome123, welcome1234, or choose welcome123, welcome123. Confirm the same password, welcome123. Remember, you cannot use my username. You have to come up with your own username, okay? This is mine. This is mine. So my username is Assad123. My password is welcome123. And now I'm going to say create an account. It says your account has been created with this username. Remember this username and just simply go to back to sign in. Simply go back to sign in. Simply go back to sign in. We have the username. Go back to sign in. We can change the password, just asking. Yes, you can change the password, but don't need to worry about the password part right now, okay? Okay. No, there should not be a firewall blocking this because it's a simple HTTP website they're going to. There's no firewall involved in this, right? It's like any website that you visit. Now I'm going to go back to my sign-in page. I'm going to use my username Assad123, 123, and I give my password, welcome. 1, 2, 3. And this allows me to save my password. And I am in my system now. And when I come over here, I type the W command to see who is using my system. I see over here, these are all the people logged in. I run the command uptime. I can run any command, by the way. And it shows me the current time on the server, how long the server has been up and running. And it talks about there are 13 users, which is not true. There are more than that. And then it shows me the load average. We will talk about this load average right now. Okay, you're good. Share the username and password. Folks, you need to create your own username. You need to create your own username. Once again, if you guys are all logged in, thumbs up. If you're not logged in, thumbs down. W command will give you more details about the users who are logged in. Okay? The uptime command will only show you the number of users logged in. W will show you where you guys are logged in from. And I'm not sure why it's not showing us the detail. If you guys logged in, maybe, the backend, my team is using containers. Okay. The next thing I want you guys to check, and before we get to that level over here, everybody please pay attention to me now, back to me. Okay, no worries. If you're on a phone, you should be taking this class from a laptop or a desktop, not from your phone. Please, next time, okay? I'm going to teach you solid skills, and I do not want you to waste your time these 4 weeks. I'm going to give you a solid roadmap. Right. Let's go ahead and talk about our PowerPoint over here. Now, I want you to understand one thing, that when you logged in to the Linux box, the Linux server right now, you are basically using a hardware server. Some type of server over here. In this case, this is HP server. Okay. And the server has different components. Excuse me. It has CPU. It has RAM. It has hard drives. How many of you guys are familiar with the server components? You know this stuff already, the CPU, the RAM, and the hard drive. If you're not familiar, that's perfectly fine. Hardware elements. So if we did not have the hardware present in the IT industry, you would not be able to go to any website. You would not be able to access any application. And that's where I'm going to start talking about the hardware elements in the IT industry. So let me share my screen with you guys over here. And now we're going to go back to our PowerPoint, and we're going to start talking about back to the PowerPoint. Just want to give you a little feel of the Linux, what you will be learning. And now we're back to the core hardware in IT. Now, hardware, ladies and gentlemen, you have computers, desktop, laptops, just like you use at home. When you become part of any organization, when we're talking about IT in general, you have your compute resources, servers, laptops, and desktops. The second category is the servers. And the definition of a server is this. It is exactly same component-wise, like your laptop or your desktop, but it's a beefed up machine. It's like this beefed up server that has a lot of resources, and it's durable. It lasts years, and I will show you tomorrow. I will show you different type of servers on a camera. So the role of the server in the IT industry is, it's like a character, okay? It plays a particular role on the network. It is serving you something, okay? It is serving you something. For example, the website that you connected with right now, the Linux website where you logged into the terminal, right? Where you logged into the terminal, that terminal is running on a server. So we're going to call this server, this is a bare metal server, okay? And this is an HP server. And this server is a server because it's serving Linux operating system to us, to all of us users that we are logged in. It is providing us access to the Linux. So why is this called a server? Because it is serving something. What is it serving? It is serving access to the Linux platform. In addition to that, it is also running a website. So me and you can access this website, which allows us to access the Linux terminal. So basically, it is giving us two things, a website and a Linux terminal. So therefore, this bare metal who is sitting somewhere in my basement is a server. Even though it's a bare metal hardware, okay, just like your desktop, but it looks different, it feels different, and it's supposed to run 24/7 online, and it can run for years without shutting down. Yeah, it can run for years without shutting down. And I have a little interesting story to share with you. When I started working at AT&T, okay, I my second or third month into the job, my boss told me that there's a guy having a problem logging into a server, okay? And he wanted me to go and troubleshoot that. He gave me the ticket. So in the IT industry, when you're working, nobody comes to your office to tell you that, hey, there's a problem, go fix that. They will assign you a ticket. Ball rolling. So this is, you understand the definition of the server? The servers are serving something on the network. Either they have data, either they have logins, either they are running a website, either they are running an application. Every time you pull out your phone and you are scrolling through your TikTok, you are actually using one of the TikTok server. We have computers, regular computers, laptop, desktops. We have servers that's serving on the network. Tomorrow, we're going to have a live session about the servers. I'm going to show you the server inside, what's inside the server. And we're going to break down the concepts of what's the CPU, the RAM, and the hard drive. And another essential part of the IT industry is not complete without these core components, hardware components, is basically your networking. The servers, the applications, the operating system, the databases, they all talk to each other because there is a network. And we're going to talk about what makes the network and the core components of the network. And then there's a storage. That's where the data stores. The storage could be on your server. The storage could be a separate, isolated environment where you store the data. That's the part where the data is stored. So these are the very essential core hardware elements in all the IT industry. You're going to be working with laptops, desktops. You're going to be working with servers. You're going to be working with networks. You're going to be working with storage. That's where the data is stored for your company. Okay? All is well so far? Please let me know if you guys are understanding Beauty Fly and Ugly Fly. It's the first day. It's a little bit, here and there. But tomorrow we will sync up. There will be better chemistry between us. You will see things. Things will make more sense to you. Now it's more theoretical, okay? The very minimum, we need a hardware. Now that hardware that you have, the server, the networking devices, the storage, it needs a software to give it a life. For example, for your laptop, for your desktop, you have the bare metal machine, right? Even your cell phone, it's a bare metal, it's plastic. How do you give it a life? You need an operating system to give it a life. You need iOS software installed on this Apple device before you can start interacting with it. Just like that, in the IT industry, servers, desktops, laptops, they need operating systems. And you have multiple choices in the operating system. You have Windows, which is the most popular for your laptops, for home users. You have your Mac, another popular operating system, the Apple. How many of you have Mac? Some of you, those of you guys who have Mac, you guys all wanna be, look rich people, and we're good. You guys are able to see the slides? Okay, very good. Okay, moving forward. So yeah, for your phone, you need a OS operating system. For your laptop, you need an OS operating system. So I was talking about the choices of the operating system. You have Windows for home users. You have Mac for the fancy rich people. They spend too much money and then they end up running Windows. And then you have, for commercial purposes, for serious stuff, for mission critical applications, for the back end operations, for companies, for enterprise level companies, they use Linux as their operating system. Every single company that you go to today, Fortune 100, 500, enterprise, small to mid size, they choose Linux operating system to run on top of their servers. And once again, what is a server? Server is a hardware device that basically gets this software, which is called the operating system Linux, in order for it to do the next thing, okay? To entertain its users. So if you have a TikTok or Instagram, you basically are using their application, TikTok application, which is probably running on a Linux server. Not probably, I know for a fact, on Linux system. And that Linux system is not just one system. It's probably hundreds and thousands of systems that runs one application, TikTok or your Instagram. So this is your TikTok application. TikTok will run on Linux, and then Linux runs on the hardware right over here. So we will look at this hardware to begin with. And then we will understand the Linux. And then we will understand how these applications get installed and how do we maintain as a DevOps engineer. Okay. Let's continue. So you're starting with the operating system. Then you have applications. TikTok is an application, by the way. It's a software. It's written in some programming language. That is also a basic core element. Applications. All the companies that have IT, why do they have IT? Because they have a business. In order to run their business, they have IT. And every single IT shop or every single IT department works with these things. They work with operating systems, they work with applications, they work with databases, they work with programming languages, and in addition to that, they work with DevOps and automation tools. Okay? Operating system is installed on servers, laptops, and desktops. Applications are installed on laptops, desktops, as well as on servers. You have been using the operating system pretty much all of your life. You have been using the applications. For example, Google Chrome, Zoom, that is the application also, which is connecting me and you to be part of this program. And then there are databases that manages the storage, okay? That manages the storage. And then you have programming languages that helps you create these applications. And then you have DevOps and automation to manage applications and these thousands of servers on the network. Okay? If you're not understanding everything, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is basically talking about now we're going to drill down into the hardware element and open up the server. Okay? This is you. One of you at least. I couldn't tell if you're a male or female, but I put both of you in one category. We have that category now. So we're going to talk about the AI infrastructure toward the end, okay? Okay, John, that's you. I asked all of you guys, right, to log into this website that I gave you, right? You all connected to that link, right? HTTP, some IP address over there, and then some port number over there. So when you clicked on it, you basically you hit my Linux machine, and there is a networking over here, by the way, throughout. And you are on your laptop or desktop, or your phone, and you used this link over here, and then when you clicked on this link over here, your system, your laptop used some networking to connect to my Linux, which is basically installed on a bare metal server. So there is a software part, and then there is a hardware part. Okay. Is the networking software part? By clicking on this link, is a software part or a hardware part? Well, to begin with, you use the hardware. You use the hardware. By clicking on the link, you use the software because it opened up the browser. And the software brought you to networking. Somehow, your machine created some packets and it brought the traffic all the way to my Linux server. And this is the operating system over here that I was talking about. And underneath this operating system, there is a bare metal server. There's a bare metal server. And we are talking about this bare metal server now. This is bare metal server is called a server. It's basically a physical machine that looks like what you see on my screen. A server looks like this. Tomorrow, I'm going to have different type of servers on my table. I'm going to show you one by one, different type of servers. Now we're going to look into, up the stack and down the stack. Now we're going to look into what is inside this server. Okay. So you understand this picture, right? You use your laptop or desktop, which is a hardware device. You clicked on the link, which is software, through your Google Chrome browser. Through some networking, you landed on my Linux machine when you saw the website. When you saw the website open up on your machine, you are basically visiting my Linux server. That Linux is an operating system which is running on top of this hardware. And now we're going to open up this hardware and inspect what's inside of this server. Keep logged into that server, folks. Okay? Keep logged into that server. If you're still with me, say beautifly. If you lost me, if you hate me, if you dislike me, say ugly fly. I'm a strong man. I can take criticism. I can take anything you have to say to me. I saw there was some gentleman that was trying to take over the class saying, hey, you're teaching basically a piece of shit. I need to learn AI. Now, how the hell you want me to start talking about AI if the people in here don't know what is the basic definition of server, what is networking, what is inside the server, what is an operating system? Do I start talking about the AI infrastructure? Or do I give you some foundation? Because the success rate from my class, I'm going to be very, very honest with you, is for those people who come here to learn, not that come here to show their knowledge. If you have a knowledge, you don't need to show it to me. I'm not going to give you goddamn penny for this. Go somewhere else and show it to somebody else. You are here to learn. Learn. If you know this already, stay quiet, pay attention, and maybe, do something else. Come back tomorrow when I'm going to talk about the hardware. You're going to learn something new when I teach you. Okay? So my sympathies are with those people who are brand new. They don't know anything. They don't even know how to write IT. They want to get a start somewhere. They want to be on the starting point. That's the type of people I appeal to. And majority of my students, I kid you not, majority of my students are those people who come to me completely empty. They don't know anything. And I swear to God, they're the most smart people because the way I lay down the foundation, the way I teach them, and when they go into the job market, because they are so well trained and they don't have prior knowledge and prior experiences, they learn so open mindedly with the growth mindset, not the fixed mind. Oh, I know this stuff already. What is he talking about? This is nonsense. This is childish stuff. They have a growth mindset. They want to grow. They want to learn something. They're open to taking ideas. They're the one highly successful from my courses because they have one mission to change their life. And my mission is to change your life. So you give me gritty kid, a gritty person who's really passionate about changing their life. And I promise you, I will change their life. Okay. Okay. Now, if you open up a server and under the hood, what you will see tomorrow is basically server has these main components: CPU, it has RAM, and it has storage devices, hard drives, hard drive. And if we, yeah, exactly, dust is there too for the most part. Okay, you're absolutely right. You remind me of days working in the data center for AT&T, but I still work with these components on daily basis. So we need to understand each component and what they do for us. Let me get to the other slide over here. What role they play inside the server. The CPU is the brain of your computer. Just like you guys have a brain, any thought that comes to your brain, any thoughts, any ideas that come to your brain, they come through your brain. Any ideas that you come up with, they come through brain. Your brain is basically the processing. Any idea, any thoughts, any actions that you want to take, it has to go through the brain. Same thing. A server, a desktop, or a laptop, they all have a CPU, and that's the brain of the computer. That's the brain of the server. So what is CPU's job? If you were to give me one sentence, what is the CPU job? The CPU is the central processing unit. It's the brain of the computer. It executes instructions. It runs processes. It executes jobs. Basically, all the action that takes place in your computer, whether you're opening a Google Chrome window, whether you are opening a, Zoom application, whether you're opening PowerPoint, all of these programs, they are executed by the CPU. So the way it works is this: programmers, developers, coders, those geeky guys, they write programs. They are good with programming languages. Okay? And they write programs. Then we download those programs and we install them onto our hard drive. So what is hard drive's job? Hard drive's job is to store data. Just like on your iPhone or Android, you open up the app. That app, first of all, was downloaded from the App Store into your phone. Where did it get downloaded? It got downloaded onto your hard drive. So hard drive stores data permanently unless you delete it. Next thing is, I'm going to relate to your life, day-to-day life, because you're all hooked up to the social media, okay? Your TikTok and Instagram for your dopamine. And that's what I'm going to relate to. So you get up every single day and you come across a new application. Hey, there is a new app to connect with people, You first of all go to the app store. The data, the program is on the app store. You click on it, it gets downloaded. It gets stored onto your hard drive. Hard drive stores the data permanently. Same thing in the server. You want to run a program or you want to store some data, you will store it on the hard drive. So the hard drive is a permanent storage. Now you have that program installed on your iPhone or on your Android device. You double click on that program. That program will get launched from hard drive and will get copied into the RAM. So why are we copying this into the RAM? Because RAM is the short-term storage. Short-term storage. It stores the data in short term. Why? Why can't we just live off with the hard drive and the data being over there? Why does the computer internally decides to bring into the RAM? Because hard drive is the slowest computer component. So if you do not, if your computer or your iPhone does not bring the data into RAM, then it's going to be very, very slow to process the data because the data has to be processed by CPU, the instructions. And then this RAM feeds the data into the CPU and CPU then execute that code. So the CPU's job is executing code, instructions, applications, processes, jobs, data, whatever you want to call it, executing instructions. And then that's why we see the output on the screen. Okay? We're not going to talk about the cache memory right now. We're not going to talk about the level 1, level 2. We just want to understand the hard drive, the RAM, and the CPU. That's the most basic thing, okay? So hard drive stores the data permanently. You have your cell phone, you go to the app store, you download something, a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, New York Times application, Microsoft PowerPoint, whatever. And now you decide to use that application. As soon as you double click that application, the data gets copied into the RAM. Into the RAM because this is a short-term storage. Now the data is copied into the RAM. The CPU no longer needs to go to the hard drive because hard drive is very slow. It's the slowest component in your computer. By the way, this is one of the interview questions that got my student a job at NVIDIA for one of my students. The interviewer asked the student, give me the fastest to the slowest components in the server. And he answered right away and he goes, you'd be surprised I have interviewed 50 people. They do not know this goddamn thing. And you know the answer. And along with that, you know the commands that I asked on Linux. So you're hired. NVIDIA. Okay. The kid is still working over there. So slowest component is hard drive. Fastest component is CPU. And then in between is the RAM. Okay. So data is stored on the hard drive, copied into the RAM, and then CPU execute the instructions. These are the main component of your server. When we open up the server tomorrow under the hood, that's what you're going to find. And then we will look into the specification, how to read, what's the specification of the CPU, how to check the RAM, how do you check the hard drive. So now we understand these three components at the very minimum. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the other things. Let's get back to our Linux machine. Let me see if I still have access. And let's see if we can identify these components in our server, because remember, you are on my Linux box right now, and you want to know about the CPU, right? What type of CPU I have in this server under the hood. The command is lscpu. Let's type this command. lscpu, ladies and gentlemen, and come to this output over here. Uh-oh. So if I run this command, lscpu, pipe more, you can see right over here, I have 144 CPUs in my server. 144 CPUs or 144 cores in my server. We're going to talk about these cores tomorrow. Okay, everybody got that command? Let's run this command, lscpu. And the output that you got probably somewhere went up, you know. But if you wanted to hold the output, then you would use the pipe sign and more. I want you guys to run this command, lscpu, and then there's a pipe sign right underneath the backspace. This line over here is a pipe sign. Backspace, and there's this right here. Enter that one and type more. I'm saying, hey Linux, list all the CPUs in my server. List all the CPUs in my server. And guess what? I come over here and it tells me what type of CPU I have. Don't worry about the architecture. It tells me who is the vendor. This is the Intel processor. It tells me the make and model of the processor. It tells me how many total cores, how many number of CPUs I have. I have 144 processors or number of cores in my server. Do you guys have that? How many cores you have on your machine? There's a way for you to tell that. How many CPUs you have? What I want you to do is no. Well, 144 if you're looking at my server. If you're looking at my server. But let's take a look at your machine. Your machine means your computer. So let's see. If you want to see, if you're on Windows, you go to the system information. System information. Right here. This is my laptop now, by the way. Before, on the Linux terminal, I was looking at the Linux one. This is my laptop over here. And take a look at this over here, ladies and gentlemen. What is this telling you? How many CPUs I have in my Windows machine? Take a snipping tool over here and break it down for you guys. There you go. I'm going to take this output and explain it to you. Right here. So on my Linux server, I had 144 CPUs, logical CPUs. In my Windows machine, how many I have? Here. Okay. I have 8 logical processors. So see, my Linux server has 144 processors, whereas my laptop has 8 logical processors. You know, I was also talking about the RAM. In my laptop, I have a 16 gigabyte RAM, which is way too less. That's why my computer is a little bit laggy. I need a GDX, by the way, with 128 gig RAM. So this is not enough RAM. That's why my computer is goddamn slow over here. Take a look at this. You see this? I have 8 processors, and see over here, this Windows is showing you right over here that I got 79% usage on my CPU, 75% on my RAM, meaning my resources are heavily used right now. And this is because I'm using the most crappiest operating system on this planet, which is Windows. And the reason I use this is because it's most compatible with. There are a lot of softwares to use with this. And that was the reason I did not want to get the GDX. Okay, so now you guys tell me your CPUs and RAM. Let's get back terminal over here. And let me move this over here. And let me kind of make this small window so you guys can see. Let's get back to the terminal. Okay. Let's check how much RAM do I have in my server. The command is free -h. Free space hyphen or dash h. There you go. Free hyphen h. Run this command. And now you hit enter and you see right over here. And I'm going to take a snipping tool over here once again and get a view of this so I can show you guys the command that I ran and the exact specification. So in this one, you can tell the total RAM I have is 750 gigabyte. 755 gigabyte. Even if you did not know anything about math, my personal laptop has 16 GB and my server has 755. You could tell this is same, that this goddamn thing is huge. That's the kind of server I'm going to show you tomorrow. We're going to open it up and we're going to see this beast and all the components of this server. It's going to be a fun ride. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me stop over here and give you the recap.